Welcome back, everyone, to the 2017 Fresh and Furious here on layer9.ca. I am the Derby Nerd, potentially joined by Gorschach. Gorschach just decompressing with the Vipers after that truly intense showdown with Montreal Roller Derby's Smash Squad. We are continuing to move through here. I realized, if you've been watching, I misread the bracket a little bit. There's actually not going to be a third-place game, so the losers can continue on to win. Now, neither of these two teams needs to worry about that. They both have an opportunity to move into the championship final. You are watching Queen's Court in the black playing their second game of Fresh and Furious against North and Central Roller Derby. This is a mixed team between Orangeville, Norfolk, South Simcoe, and Wellington. Thunderstruck heading to the penalty box, so power jam early on here for North and Central Roller Derby. And Rogue picks up lead jammer status for the mixed team. Mixed teams, of course, have always been a theme here at the Fresh and Furious. And that continues this year as well. Now Rogue hits the pack. Looking to push her way through. First points on the board for North and Central. And a call-off. So damage done early on in this power jam 5-0 start for North and Central. Queen's Court, representing Queen City Roller Girls from Buffalo, Ontario. We'll be down a jammer to start things off here as well. Just over a minute in. Still working on making sure we have a consistent scoreboard overlay. I see that we do have it now. It's been flickering in and out. Give us some time here as we have all of our equipment split over the two tracks in the Bubble and Ted Reeve Arena. Jam now underway. Saucy Ross jamming for North and Central. Thunderstruck still on the penalty box, so the power start is a success. Saucy Ross is your lead jammer. Thunderstruck out of the penalty box, quickly through in her initial pass. Saucy Ross, though, already around and scoring. Pack is held up at turn 2. Queen City could not hold the inside line, and North and Central builds on their lead. 9-0 now, 2 jams in. Queen's Court still looking to get on the board. All of these teams, as part of North and Central, have appeared in some form or another. Orangeville, South Simcoe, Wellington have all skated here as individual leagues. And continuing their tradition here at Fresh and Furious, now as this mixed team. Jam underway, penalty box empty. It is 5-on-5 roller derby. And first lead jammer status of the game for Queen's Court goes to Fergavicious. Good swarming defense at the front of that pack. Chaos looking for a lane, cannot find it. Finally completes her initial pass. Fergavicious through. First points on the board for Queen's Court. Chaos Lynn trying to stay ahead of Fergavicious. Both jammers approaching the pack at turn 3. A collision there just on the cusp of the back stretch. No points are going to be on the board on that second pass. So 9-4 remains the score. Just over 3 minutes into this game. If you are just tuning in, we are playing WFTDA rules, but of course these are 20-minute micro games. Each team gets 2 timeouts, an official review, and it takes 4 penalties for you to foul out. It's a pseudo double elimination tournament, so if you do lose, you have a chance to win the consolation bracket and advance back into the final. Formaldehyde jamming for North and Central. It looks like she's going to pick up a back block penalty, so power jam for Queen's Court. Cassidy Dope gets exited just on the cusp of turn 1. Now tries to go right through the middle, takes a big hit from Rashkin Robbins. Baskin Robbins going 1-on-1, finally peeled away from the jammer. Cassidy Dope still looking for a lane and gets knocked once again down by Robbins. Great penalty kill here from the 2 lone North and Central blockers. Cassidy again forced on the inside. A low block penalty, though, being issued to the blocker in white. That's Smartash heading to the penalty box. Penalty is over to Formaldehyde. So power jam was very well negated by the defense of North and Central. Cass back on the track. Or Cass is lead jammer as Formaldehyde is back on the track. Jinxie Jones with the exit hit drags Formaldehyde back to the backstretch. Cass now in the track, falls the second APEC. Formaldehyde through in her initial pass. Packs are bunched up at turn 4 and sneaking through on the inside. Cassidy Dope picking up points, calls it off. 4 on the board, a hard-fought 4 points. Queen's Court now within 1, down 9-8, just over 5 minutes in. Fresh and the Furious would like to thank Mill Street Brewery. Mill Street Brewery is a local Toronto craft brewery committed to brewing award-winning beers. They've been a long-time supporter of the Fresh and the Furious, and we definitely thank them for the delicious beverages. If you'd like to talk to us or talk to yourselves as you watch, use the hashtag FNF2017 on Twitter. Stretch Armstrong jamming for Queen's Court, and she makes a nice little move from the outside in. There's a wide open lane number 1 and lead jammer status to Queen's Court. After a slow start now, Queen's Court with an opportunity to take the lead. Nice defense there played from the North and Central jammer. She's knocked down, stays inbounds. Q back up. Takes another hit from Jinxie Jones as through the pack end scoring is Stretch Armstrong with the grand slam. Stretch through. Defense was focused on the offense. That's one of the hardest transitions to make in roller derby, being aware of the D and the O at the same time. And you can see there that North and Central just was not ready for the defense as they try and get Q through in her initial pass. Meanwhile, Queen's Court has scored 10. Have completely turned this game around, and another grand slam scored for Stretch Armstrong. It's a 15-0 jam. Pack is at a dead stop. Nice little pick to the outside from Mick Dagger, but a good recovery from the North and Central defense. Armstrong patient, back in, finds a lane on the inside. 4 more on that pass. It's a 19-0 jam as Queen's Court has completely flipped this game. And an easy pass on the power jam now as Q standing in the box looking to come out. Jinxie Jones back on the track for Queen's Court. 10 seconds. Armstrong looking for one more pass. And she's going to get it. Biggest jam of the tournament so far. A 28-pointer when all is said and done in Queen's Court, pulling ahead 36-9. And there is just an indication of the importance of playing a clean game here in these 20-minute games. You're now 8 minutes in, and Queen's Court in control after an excellent start from North and Central. They're going to take a timeout, and that will give me an opportunity to thank some more of our sponsors. Still haven't heard from Gorschach, but as you saw, if you've been watching, she had that intense game against the Smash Squad and the Vipers, just decompressing right now, having a little bit of a post-game chat. So we will be hearing from Gorschach, though, a little later in the day. But we can thank our another one of our sponsors, CBS Certified Building Systems. For all you HVAC energy management and mechanical needs, call CBS. I'd also like to thank Magnum Fire Protection, helping individuals and businesses, large or small, to stop fire before it happens. Call Magnum Fire for all your fire prevention needs. This is the 8th edition, in some form or another, of this Fresh and Furious tournament, dating all the way back to the Virgin Suicides Brawl in 2008. That was won by Hammer City Roller Derby's Death Row Dames. The 1-point win over the Slaughter Daughters in the round-robin style tournament at the time. The defending champion, Roller Derby Quebec, is not here this year. For the first time since 2012, Roller Derby Quebec not sending representatives to the Fresh and Furious tournament. But that opens the doors for one of these teams potentially. Thunderstruck through, and the run continues for the Queen's Court. Another lead jammer status. Chaos Lynn through as well. Initial pass complete. Thunderstruck, though, quickly back around and scoring. Makes a nice little move to the inside. Bench imploring her to call it off. She does so just in time as Chaos Lynn was about to approach 4 points. (41-9) as 4 more on the board for Queen's Court. It's going to be a pack advantage for North and Central. Both jammers on the track. Fergie Vicious immediately knocked to the outside, forced to reset, and that allowed enough room for Smartash to get through. Lead jammer status for North and Central as they try to get back into this game after jumping out to a quick 9-0 lead. They've been outscored 41-0 as we near the midway point. A nice offensive move. Sweep from the inside out from North Central gets them back on the board now. The run has been stopped. 41-13 is the difference, 10.5 to go. Penalty box. Gloriously empty, 5-on-5 roller derby. And North and Central looking to continue this bit of a pushback. And lead jammer status does go to Stretch Armstrong. So Queen's Court continuing. Show strong play. Initial pass, though, is complete for Quiet Riot. Quiet Riot approaching the pack. Queen's Court has been calling for the call-off. Oh, but Quiet Riot skating out of bounds before she'd called it back. It's going to be a power jam for North and Central, and again, some miscommunication with the bench and the jammer. And a star pass has been made. Saucy Ross now is your jammer, and North Central has an opportunity to pick up some points here. And again, that's what the Fresh and Furious is all about. You make those mistakes now so you don't make them later. And Saucy Ross through for the Grand Slam. North Central now on a bit of a pushback here. 9-4 run over the last 2 jams. Stretch Armstrong in the box, standing. Less than 10 to go in her penalty. North and Central trying to free their jammer on this power jam. Stretch Armstrong out of the box. They're going to have to pay attention. They do not. Armstrong through, but a track cut being issued, so she's going to head right back to the box. The power jam will continue for North and Central. Defense regroups. Swing and a miss from Daisy Juke. Saucy Ross with a burst of speed on the outside. Gets through for another Grand Slam. North Central continues this pushback now, narrowing the gap to 45-23. 8 minutes to go. And a timeout being called. And that might have been an official timeout. Again, if you want to talk on Twitter, the hashtag is FNF2017. The winner of this will advance straight through in the championship bracket, but as we mentioned, if you do suffer a loss, you will have an opportunity to fight your way back into the championship game. You know, the tournament's format changes each year depending on the number of teams that we bring to the Fresh and the Furious, and this year with 12 teams, we're doing a pseudo double elimination. So if you lose one game, you move on to the consolation bracket, and you can battle your way back into the championship game. So slightly different format from what you have seen in Fresh and Furious' past. If you do want to take a look at the bracket, in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, you will see a little eyeball. If you click on that eyeball, you'll see links to both the rosters and also the schedule, which will hopefully be updated throughout the day. If you're just tuning in, it's Queen's Court in the black, North and Central in the white. North and Central made up of Orangeville Roller Girls, Norfolk Roller Derby, South Simcoe Rebel Rollers, and Wellington Roller Derby. Just as I mentioned, one of a few mixed teams we have at the tournament this year. And a lot of teams borrowing. So, for example, I know the Windsor Assault this year from the Border City Roller Derby has borrowed a few skaters from Detroit. So we have some cross-border teams as well playing in the Fresh and the Furious. Timeout is over. Queen's Court had called an official review. Perhaps to have the jammer penalty removed. But Smash Harmstrong remains in the penalty box. And the official review for Queen's Court has been lost. All right, game back now underway. North and Central on a bit of a run here as they try to get back into this game. Going with Rogue once again. She kicked things off well with the lead jammer status on the initial jam and gets another one here. So power start was a success. Stretch Armstrong back onto the track. Oh, and Rogue with a bit of a early call off on that one again. That's what Fresh and Furious is all about, making those mistakes. I think I misread the fact that Stretch Armstrong was actually...
It was called correctly, so it stood. Yeah, it stood because it was called correctly.
Lex, do you have a bit of a... I'm here with Lex Tan sitting at the table with me. Do you have an update on that official review?
Yes, the referee just said that the penalty was called correctly, and that, yeah, the penalty is...
Right,
yeah.
the skating out of bounds penalty. So that was the official review. Thank you very much. Yeah, the jammer, again, just took her head off the track, skated out of bounds before calling it off. You cannot do that. And back on the track now, we have a lead jammer status given to Thunderstruck. Smart Ash also through. Thunderstruck makes a nice little juke to the inside, faked going to the out. Hermione Dagger went in for the swing and the miss on the inside lane. A quick 4 points picked up. 6:30 to go. Queen's Court still in control, 51-23. But as you can see, if you watch that last game, a game can turn very quickly. .6:15 to go. Queen's Court in control. They've got all of their blockers on the track. Looks like Saucy Ross is the jammer for North and Central, but Fergavicious sneaks through quickly on the outside and gets through. Jinxie Jones with a nice big hit on Saucy Ross. Forces her back. And very quickly, Fergavicious is around, makes a nice little juke from the inside out to get by the trio of North and Central blockers. Grand slam for Queen's Court. A nice little inside-out juke again from Fergavicious. And you can see the skaters, the defensive skaters, haven't quite developed that inside-out game yet. Unable to move laterally quick enough to catch her. Saucy Ross was looking for a star pass, I believe, but her pivot is in the penalty box. And in the confusion, Fergavicious able to get around another grand slam. So Queen's Court really taking control of the game here on a big jam, and Jinxie Jones leading the way defensively. Fergavicious around yet again, and the pack has yet to advance past turn number one. A nice big hit from Baskin Robbins sends Fergavicious out, forces her to reset. Fergavicious, nice move to evade another hit from Baskin Robbins to get the grand slam. Calls it off. Another huge jam for Queen's Court. 25 points on this one. So with jams of 25 and 28 points, Queen's Court has taken control, and a timeout being called by North and Central. Whew. Lex has been sitting here with me on standby, and Gorschach, we never did see Gorschach coming up from that Vipers game against the Smash Squad. But Lex, this is your first Fresh and Furious tournament. Your thoughts so far early on in the day?
I'm loving roller derby. I'm loving the energy. I'm loving the action. It's just everybody, as I mentioned in the first game, there's so much heart and soul being poured onto the rink here, onto the track, and it's great to see. It's great to see it at this level. It's great to see it at all the different levels of roller derby.
One thing I like about this tournament too is, I mean, these are younger skaters. We're seeing some mistakes like that, the skating out of bounds penalty that was called. You're not allowed to skate out of bounds in your own power and call it off. Which makes sense. But we see those mistakes being made in this game. It's kind of like watching the World Junior Hockey Championships, for example. They're so exciting because when they get a little older, the mistakes are less and less. And as teams become more experienced, they make those mistakes less and less. And once a team gets a lead, for example, it's hard to really turn it around in roller derby. But here in Fresh and Furious, we see massive swings in momentum just based on a tiny little mistake.
In the previous game between Montreal and Toronto, Toronto was up by 20 points, and Montreal did come back and take the game away from them. Here, it's about a 30 or 53-point lead as far as I can calculate right now, and but that's not an insurmountable amount of points.
No, not at all. There's still 4 minutes to go. We're going to get 2 or 3 more jams in here. Oh, but we have a high block called onto Chaos Lynn. And that is going to make a comeback a little bit more challenging.
Stretch Armstrong making her way around, entering the pack again.
Stretch hits that pack hard.
Gets past that wall 3.
Kitty Kitty Bang Bang was the last line of defense on the outside. The captain of North and Central. Armstrong.
There she goes again. Oh, great move there.
And again, later on in Derby, as these skaters will advance, they'll get that lateral movement down a little bit more. But a lot of these people, even if they do have skating backgrounds, they're not used to skating on the quads yet. And can't quite take advantage of the edges.
And it's quad skating and inline skating and ice skating are 3 totally different skill sets.
Absolutely. There's obviously a lot of crossover when it comes to maybe leg work, but when it comes down to using your edges and turning and lateral movement, it's a totally different ballgame, to mix metaphors.
Chaos back onto the track, but she got forced out by the defense. She's got to reset.
Queen's Court going long in this jam, working the clock. With a pretty comfortable lead right now. They're on a 35-0 run. And I think Stretch has had enough and potentially could call it off. No, and she's being sent on a, yes, that's right, she'd been knocked out of bounds. I was wondering about that, and stepped right back onto the track in front of everyone. You must re-enter behind any skater who was in front of you on the track when you exited, so as not to use the out of bounds for an advantage. And Stretch Armstrong, another little bit of a mental blip there, will send her to the penalty box.
Just over 2 minutes left here. It's 2 minutes and 15 seconds left in the bout. 86-31 for Queen's Court.
And we're going to have a bit of a break here between games. Not too much. We'll be back with a game at 2 p.m. So depending on how long this one goes, but it's only 2 minutes left here. The referees are now consulting with the scoreboard operators, just making sure that all the points are put on the board. It was a scrappy last jam and a lot of points for both teams. 14-8 was the total. So Queen's Court now in control, 90-31. You know, one disadvantage that teams like North and Central have is that these fresh skaters, they don't skate together. They skate with their respective leagues, whereas in Queen's Court, all of these skaters have come up through the Fresh Meat training program together. So even if they haven't played a lot of games, they've at least gone through all of that training, all of the heartbreak that goes along with that training, and they've really bonded in many ways. But Smart Ash keeping North and Central in it with a late lead jammer status pickup. Waiting up for some offense from her team. Pack moving slowly down the back stretch.
Here comes Stretch Armstrong back in the fray.
Jinxie Jones at the front of that pack, as she has been all day so far for Queen City. Is going to get a direction and gameplay penalty on that one, though. Oh, no, excuse me. That was a track cut on Smart Ash. So power jam for Queen's Court.
Stretch Armstrong forced out. She gets back in, and now breaks away.
Stretch through. No lead jammer status on this one. This is going to play to the advantage of Queen's Court, as I believe the game will play out here in this jam, and this will be our final jam.
5-second differential between game and jam clock. 34 seconds left in the game, and 35 seconds now left in the jam.
Stretch back in the pack, taking some hits, but again, the time is to Queen's Court's advantage here, even as Smart Ash comes out of the box. Ash through for 5. And 2 seconds left on the game clock, and there it is. Game clock now down to 0. We've got 4 seconds on the jam clock. A few more points are going to go on the board for North and Central, but this game is going to wrap up. And Queen's Court has now won 2 in a row, which means that they will advance directly to the quarterfinals now of the Fresh and the Furious. And North and Central will head down to the consolation bracket. And as I mentioned, I've already mentioned it once here, I misread the bracket. There will not be a third place game this year, so the winner of the consolation bracket will actually get to advance right to the final. So it's a great second chance opportunity.
Just waiting on official word on the final score, but it looks to be 95 Queen's Court and 37 North and Central.
We know who won. It's just about making it an official score now. And there it is, the referee indicating that that is now official. So 95-37 is the difference. Queen's Court moving on to the quarterfinals of Fresh and Furious 2017. And we're going to take a bit of a break. We've got a lunchtime break here in the schedule. So no more games on the Ted Reeve track until 2 p.m. But be sure to come in for that one. Still games going on, too, in the bubble. So if you want to switch feeds, catch the final game there as we head into the quarterfinals. For Lex Tan, I'm the Derby Nerd, and we will be back at 2 p.m. with more Fresh and Furious 2017.